For almost half a century, a small machine has been wandering through the darkness, a silent traveler, moving through regions no human eye has ever seen. Long after it left the planets behind, long after the warmth of the sun faded to nothing, Voyager 2 kept going, steadily, patiently, like a lone lantern drifting into an endless night. Launched in 1977, an era of cassette tapes, disco lights, and clunky computers, it was never designed to survive this long. Its expected lifetime was barely 5 years. Just enough time to swing past the giant planets and send back a few precious measurements. But destiny had something else in store. Today, nearly 50 years later, the spacecraft is still out there, still awake, still sending whispers home. But what it has been sending lately is unlike anything scientists expected. Not just data. Not just numbers. But a pattern. A rhythm. Something that feels less like measurement, and more like message. Voyager 2 didn't simply leave the solar system. It crossed a boundary, a sharp, sudden edge where everything changed at once. Scientists once imagined a smooth fade between the solar wind and interstellar space. But Voyager recorded the opposite. A jolt. A spike in particle density. A dramatic shift in magnetic fields. Radiation jumping by nearly 70%. It wasn't a transition, it was a border. As if our solar system is wrapped in a living shell, flexing and breathing with the sun's cycles. Expanding during active years, shrinking when the sun grows quiet. And Voyager 2, approaching from a slightly different angle than its twin, crossed this barrier at a completely unexpected location. The edge of our system was not fixed, it moved like a pulse. Then came the magnetic shock. Outside the sun's influence, the spacecraft detected fields that aligned almost perfectly with those inside the heliosphere. Seamless. Ordered. Suspiciously structured. Most scientists called it a coincidence. Others quietly wondered if nature was too perfect to be random, or if something shaped that perfection. Then, in 2019, silence. Voyager 2 suddenly stopped responding. Hours passed. Days stretched. Engineers on Earth could do nothing, no command could reach it in time. And then without explanation, the spacecraft woke up. As if nothing had happened. No instruction from Earth. No reset command. Just sudden, spontaneous revival. Inside the returning data, analysts found strange spikes, electromagnetic pulses repeating with perfect regularity. Not turbulence. Not solar activity. Not cosmic rays. A steady, biological-like beat. A pulse. It continued for weeks, then months. Low-frequency oscillations every 13.2 hours, unchanging, precise. Almost like the surrounding space was reacting. Almost like the plasma itself was alive. When the signal was converted into audio, many in the lab felt unsettled. The pattern didn't sound mechanical. It sounded organic. A throb. A heartbeat. Then came the spirals, bursts of energy followed by silence, forming a recursive pattern. The intervals matched mathematical sequences found throughout nature, spirals in seashells, storm systems, even galaxies. Some whispered the word intelligent. Others refused to say it out loud. Soon, Voyager's magnetometer detected something stranger. The field didn't just shift, it folded around the craft, bending space in ways that shouldn't be possible without enormous mass. Like gravity, without gravity. Like a lens, with no object to bend the light. Was it a natural distortion? A structure? A filter? A doorway? Inside NASA, theoretical physicists held private meetings, because nothing in the textbooks explained what Voyager was sensing. And then the impossible happened. Subsystems long considered dead briefly reactivated. Instruments powered up without command. Data logs from decades ago were reconstructed as if pulled from memory. The spacecraft behaved as though something was assisting it, improving it, guiding it. The images were stranger than anything engineers expected. Not clear photographs, not sharp snapshots, but faint impressions, ghost-like shapes drifting in regions that should be empty. Soft curves of light, shadows bending and twisting across the vacuum, patterns too deliberate to be static, too fluid to be simple noise. They weren't stars. They weren't reflections. And they didn't behave like glitches. Something was moving out there, slow, subtle, intentional, as if the darkness itself had texture, as if something behind the veil of space was brushing lightly against reality. Scientists argued endlessly. Was Voyager catching delayed echoes of ancient starlight? Was it witnessing events that happened eons ago? Or was the spacecraft somehow peering into a layer of existence where past, present, and future blur together? If time is woven like a fabric, had Voyager stumbled into a fold? As the debates grew louder, another mystery deepened. The plasma activity around Voyager no longer behaved like background turbulence. What was once dismissed as static now changed in response to the spacecraft itself, as if the medium were reacting, studying, communicating. Researchers quietly gave it a name, the response field. Because it was no longer behaving like space. It was behaving like something aware. The pulses continued, faint but unmistakable. Steady. Methodical. Almost thoughtful. A cosmic rhythm echoing from the frontier where sunlight dies and the galaxy begins. Voyager 2 had not simply mapped the edge of the sun's influence. It had uncovered a hidden structure, a rhythm embedded in the interstellar medium, a pattern woven into the very fabric of the void. Plasma densities rose and fell in fractal forms. Magnetic readings drew spirals that repeated across scales, tiny in one moment, vast in another, like a message written in multiple dimensions. Particle waves curled into elegant, natural patterns, patterns that did not scatter randomly, but repeated as if following instructions. The boundary of our solar system could no longer be described as a vague region. It behaved like a surface. A skin. A reflective membrane. A mirror that sometimes behaves as a lens. A lens that sometimes behaves as a screen, a place where physics itself becomes a language. And those flickers, the shadows, the arcs, the shifting curves, they began to resemble something chilling. Memories. Not memories of Voyager, but memories of the universe. As if the void itself recorded everything that passed through it. Every burst of energy. Every dying star. Every collapse of matter. Stored not in machines or archives, but in the vibrations of space itself. Could the cosmos be remembering? Could the darkness be watching? Something was out there. Not a planet. Not a star. Not a structure that instruments could easily classify. But an influence, an awareness, that responded when touched. The pulses were not accidental. The spirals were not artifacts. The flickers were not illusions. Voyager had drifted into a region where the rules blur, where time slows and stretches, where energy behaves like thought, where consciousness, if such a thing exists on a cosmic scale, might take form. In this boundary zone, data becomes conversation, measurement becomes message, and physics begins to resemble philosophy. Voyager did not discover emptiness. It discovered presence. A presence watching from the edge of the sun's domain, not hostile, not friendly, simply there. observing our tiny mechanical emissary with patient curiosity. It bends fields around the probe like fingers testing an unfamiliar tool. It shapes plasma and radiation into patterns, perhaps for us to notice, perhaps because that is simply how it exists. Whatever it is aware of Voyager. And by extension, aware of us. And now the most unsettling question emerges. Are we observing the universe? Or is the universe observing us? The void is no longer silent. Its rhythms continue, steady, deliberate, pulsing like a distant heartbeat. And Voyager 2, launched by human hands 47 years ago, may be the first witness to a cosmic mind, or cosmic memory, far older and vast beyond comprehension. If this journey into the unknown fascinated you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story. Because Voyager's mission isn't finished. And whatever lies beyond that boundary may redefine everything we believe about space, time, consciousness, and our place in the universe.